Morning from the Lake District. It's the first video we're doing on the Walking the Wainwrights channel, so apologies in advance if the quality is absolutely shocking. I've also only bought a 32 gig SD card, so I can only get about 35 minutes of footage, which could be for the best. So yeah, just doing a little one today. The Kentmere Horseshoe. Just heading up the Garburn Pass now with Chris. You can probably see behind me somewhere there. So yeah, first fell we'll get to is Yoke, then Bell, Froswick, Marthwaite Crag, then we'll reach the head of the horseshoe and start coming back down the fells on the opposite side. Harter Fell. Morning. Kentmere Pike, shipment knots, and then back into the village. Top of the Garburn Pass, a lot steeper than it looks. Roasting day today, so yeah, just got to the top of it. Should start to see Yoke over that way, just beyond the Hardies there. I think that's looking towards Helvellyn, so Chris tells me anyway. So yeah, I'll keep going and then film again probably once we get to the top of the Yoke, and we can see the rest of the horseshoe from up there and see what awaits us. So just on a right at the top of the Garburn Pass, got the first sight of Yoke there, just in the background. Fell runner there, put me to shame. About 20 years older than me, just skipped past me, not even breaking a sweat. But the views from up here are absolutely amazing. It's what you do it for. Touch really lucky with the weather. Just got to keep trudging up this first bit, and I think that's most of the hard effort done. And then it plateaus all the way to the saddle pretty much, with a few undulations in between. So you can probably tell two things by my laboured breathing. One, I'm horrendously unfit, and two, about the top of the first fell of the day, which is Yoke, just behind me there. You can probably see the cairn, which is where Chris is, just behind. You can start to get an appreciation of where we're going now. So just ahead there, with the two small cairns on the top, which you might be able to see. That's Bell, where we're going next. And then behind that, you've got Froswick, Marthwaite Crag, and then we drop down on the saddle, which you might be able to see there. And then we join the fells on the other side there, follow them all the way down. Harter Fell, Kentmere Pike, shipment knots, and then back down into the village. But it's absolutely roasting, so a bit of another drag up here to Mardale Bell, and then hopefully should flatten out a bit. Just summited the second Wainwright of the day, Bell, not to be confused with Mardale Bell, which I've probably incorrectly named this earlier on in the video. This one's Bell. It's actually two cairns on the top of this one, you can probably see there. I'm taking this one to be the top because it was the nearest, and I'm knackered already. So yeah, on to the next one that way now, where Chris is. That's Froswick. There is Marthwaite Crag beyond it, which you might be able to see in the far distance with the tall cairn on it. Looks almost like a lighthouse, but we are just going to try and cut the corner on that one because it is a Wainwright we've done before when we did the Hartop Dod walk up from Hartop back in March. So yeah, so before I started these videos we've already done 22 of the 214 Wainwrights. So yeah, cut that one off, get to the pub quicker, yeah, and just keep going. So there's Froswick in front of us there, bit of a drop down, back up again. Looks fairly straightforward. I can pretty see everywhere that we're going now. All the way back down to the village somewhere down there. Views over Windermere, absolutely stunning today, gorgeous. It'll be busy down there, lots of ice cream. So yeah, keep going. Yeah, so I was just saying then, we're cutting out Marthwaite Crag because we did that when we did Hartop Dod, and you can actually see one of the fells from that route just there, Cordale Moor, and you drop down into that saddle, come up Marthwaite Crag, and then over the back there is Grey Crag. So you can actually add that onto this walk along with High Street in the middle there, and that forms the greater Kentmere Horseshoe. And it's 10 fells, but yeah, far too much for us today, far too unfit. So we'll just stick with the smaller one, just the 8 fells. And yeah, speak to you again when we get up the next one. Just on the third fell of the day, which was Froswick, just over my shoulder there. So the hardest bit so far has been the initial bit up the Garburn Pass. It was a pretty long slog up there. But once you get up Yoke, there is a bit of up and down between the other fells that we've been up so far, but yeah, pretty straightforward going, to be honest. So like I say, next one up there is Marthwaite Crag, but we'll be cutting the corner there because we've done it before. Have a bit of lunch just on the head of the horseshoe there, little break, and then crack on, and it's pretty much downhill all the way for the remaining fells. So just coming to the head of the horseshoe now. If you did want to do Marthwaite Crag, go up that way, but because we've already done that, I'm going to take a little sneaky shortcut to the right here, just to that little pole you can see in the foreground. Just about reached the head of the horseshoe now. Probably see behind me there, view's absolutely amazing. So just going to stop for some lunch here and then continue over that way, and we're effectively on the way home back then. Refueled and had some lunch, so just carrying on with the rest of it now, basically on the way back. You can see how far we've come. Just look back there, got Yoke, Bell, Froswick, and then we came down this way, but Marthwaite Crag's just over there. So just keep them walking past the sheep and on towards the pub. Some slight navigational issues, too busy gassing, and we walked straight past Mardale Bell, so just looping back on ourselves now, heading up to it, touch the top, and then over the Nambiald Pass onto the remaining 3. So popping up here, see you in a sec. So just come back on ourselves, got to the top of Mardale Bell. You can see over to the Yorkshire Dales there in the distance, and Haweswater just in the foreground here. So I think that was dammed up. There's actually a village buried under the water. So just going down the Nambiald Pass and then up Harter Fell, down to Kentmere Pike, Shipman Knots, and then yeah, nearly home. Not much to say about these remaining fells, bit nondescript, just green mounds really. So yeah, just keep trudging on and soon be back. Just trudging down the Nambield Pass now, probably completely butchering the pronunciation of that. That's what it looks like on the map, so that's how I'll say it until someone corrects me. See these little red flags all along the route. I've been for about the past mile or so, so I don't know if there's a fell race on or something for people far fitter than us. So a bit of a trudge down here on the old knees, a bit soul destroying to drop back down after gaining a lot of height. So we've got to go back up the other side there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera properly because it's quite bright. Can't see the screen much. So yeah, just trudging along here. Oh, I think I'll need some ibuprofen in an hour or so. Oh, just made it up the Nambield Pass, or however you pronounce it. Absolute grueler. Didn't look that bad, but yeah, there's a couple of false tops. So yeah, got up there in the end. Just been to Harter Fell. Just turned round now, trying to find the path to go on to Kentmere Pike and then down to Shipman Knots. Absolutely roasting. I know I've done it a couple of times, but when you look back you really get a sense of the scale of the walk we've done there. Started all the way down there in the distance, came across all of them, up there, back behind us. Just come along from Harter Fell, got to the top of Kentmere Pike, which is the penultimate fell of the day. So just meander down to Shipman Knots now. Still pretty roasting, pretty knackered now. Been walking for a good few hours. I think we've still got a good hour or so left in the walk before we get back to the van. Just summited the final fell of the day, Shipman Knots. Not much there, to be honest, just a little stack of stones to make a bit of a makeshift cairn. It's only about 13 minutes left of recording on the memory card, so yeah, just thought I'd make some closing comments to say it's been a massive walk today, absolute monster. We've still got a fair bit to go before we get back to Kentmere. But absolutely worth it. You know, if you've not done it before, 8 Wainwrights to bag there. As I say, we only did 7 today because we'd done Marthwaite Crag before. A couple of difficult bits, but certainly not the most difficult horseshoe we've done. So yeah, worthwhile. Highly recommend it, especially when the weather's like this. You know, the views are just unsurpassed. Just had fun coming off Shipman Knots then. I've seen videos of other people on YouTube saying the path's a bit dodgy coming down, but it seemed to be a clear path that we were walking on, and then all of a sudden just seemed to turn into a bit of a slick riverbed. We ended up in a lot of sort of thicket up to our waist, so yeah, no doubt covered in a load of ticks, but yeah, back on the path now and nearly back to the van. Back in the van now, hallelujah, just on the way to the boozer. Set off about 8 and it's just gone 2:30 now, so yeah, finished it in good time, especially considering the hot weather. Now on to the good stuff, pint of Casca. Woo!